Welcome back to another episode of Flight Coach Drizzy. This episode, we're going to discuss first flights. So for any of you guys taking a flight for the first time, this will benefit you. First on my list, I wanted to inform you guys about food. People always ask me, especially as a gate agent, if there's food served on the flight. Now, depending on the duration of the flight, it determines how much food is sold. Short flights from like Boston to New York, there's usually just a snack and a drink. However, on a long flight from Boston to San Francisco, there's usually a meal served. Different airlines have different policies, so research your airline before you travel. Second, people always ask about carry-on bags and personal items. Usually, almost every airline gives you the option of carrying a carry-on bag and a personal item. I know Spirit doesn't, and they do charge you for their bags, but I know JetBlue and Delta both give you a carry-on and a personal item which you can put on top in the overhead bin or underneath your seat. Bag space is shared. I feel like that's a common misconception because people think that when they buy their ticket, they automatically get space in the overhead bin, and it's not necessarily the case. Bag space is always shared, and it can fill up, and you can end up checking your bag. About pets. Pets on the aircraft. It's a big thing. United just had their messy situation, so rules get changed over the years or times, and right now, I know that pets are allowed on the aircrafts. However, there are pet fees, unless you have an emotional support animal or a service animal. Now, with an emotional support animal, you need a letter from your doctor telling the airline why you need that emotional support animal. So it gives you the reason, and it's a signed letter from your doctor, and it has to have the letterhead above. A service animal is usually certified, so they also need a letter that proves that the animal is trained, and the animal has to be trained. So please don't just buy a vest for your service animal if it's not a trained service animal, because you can kind of tell. If they're barking around for other dogs, it's usually not a service animal. Lap infants and children. Now, you don't have to buy a ticket for your lap infant. If it's under the age of 2, he or she is under the age of 2, and they can sit on your lap. Any child over the age of 2, you would have to buy a personal seat for that child. Headphones are something that I want to discuss because I know that people travel with headphones, and if you bring your iPhone headphone, that new jack doesn't work while you're on the aircraft. I hate the fact that Apple did us dirty and they changed the headphone jack to this little jack right here. It's the most annoying thing ever. They did us and it wasn't right, but I love Apple that, I just accepted it. Like we all did. Most of us just accepted it. However, when you travel, you can bring this if you're going to be listening to music on your phone, but this is not compatible for the headphone jack that is on the aircraft. It's the typical headphone jack, the little circle one that we all miss and love. Tell Apple that we miss and love that jack. But it's good to bring those headphones so then you can listen to it and enjoy the entertainment system. I always carry Emergen C, which is little packages of, it's like vitamin C, and you can put it in the water, and it gives a little flavor, a little color. You can do your orange, your raspberry, your strawberry, if you like the flavor. And it helps give that vitamin C in your body to avoid the cold. There's so many germs on those aircrafts because you're in a little tube. With cabin pressure, everything's so compact that germs spread. There's children everywhere. So it's always good to travel with Emergen C as well as water. Traveling with a blanket or a large sweater, maybe a jacket. I get really cold easily, and the aircraft, it has to keep a certain temperature to make everybody satisfied, and usually that temperature is cold. And I travel with a sweater or a blanket at whenever I travel because I like to be warm, and I sleep if I'm cuddled in a nice blanket and there's a little cold air on me. It just makes me feel so comfortable. I know a lot of people complain about getting cold really quickly, so always travel with a blanket or a large sweater. Lastly, I wanted to discuss emergency procedures. Now, I'm gonna put my phone down for this one because customers.
Rollie on my wrist, diamonds up and down my chain. Cardi B straight stunning, can't tell me nothing. Bossed up and I changed the game.
The most dangerous phases of flight, and when I say phases, I mean like sections of flight that we go through, are taxi, takeoff, and landing. Taxiing is when you're on the ground and the plane is moving through the ramp onto the jetway about to take off. That is the taxi. That's the aircraft taxi. Takeoff, when it starts from that first point, it stops, then it starts moving so quickly takes you up all the way into the air until you reach 10,000 feet. That's takeoff. From there, last phase of flight is landing, and it's when the plane is going down, descending, initial, final, getting you all the way to the ground. Those are the most critical phases of flight, and they're the most dangerous. So, when we ask you guys to put up your seat backs, your tray tables, and to stow your items, and to get your bags under those seats, it's to keep you guys safe. Now, if there's an emergency on the aircraft, we have about 90 seconds to evacuate all of those customers off the aircraft. If your bag is sitting right in front of you and not necessarily pushed onto your seat, it's blocking customers in seats A and B from getting past you to get into that aisle to find the closest exit. It's very dangerous at that point, so we just kindly tell you to push it under because you don't want your Gucci bag to trip somebody in case of an emergency. Now, we always prepare for emergencies, no matter what. Every taxi takeoff and landing is always preparation for an emergency because you never know when they're going to happen. It's not something that you can predict. So as a flight attendant, these are procedures that are always in hand, that we are taught, and that we push out to the customers just to make sure or ensure everyone is safe. Tray tables, same thing. We ask you to put up your tray table because if it's down, it's blocking the customers from getting out of the aisles. Now I know if it's down, you think, oh, I can just push it up. That's seconds and time that we're missing trying to get customers off. That little push, everyone's frantic and crazy, it can get into a crazy situation. Even your seat back. Seat back is blockage when it's time to get out, to get to an exit. So it's very important to follow those directions. It's not because we like to pick on you. I definitely don't like picking on people. I like having great flights, no attitudes. I like smiling, serving my customers. But sometimes I have to be picky about those certain things to ensure that you are safe. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Flight Coach Drizzy. I'm so happy, so elated for all of the feedback and criticism and great information that I've been getting from you guys. If you have any questions, make sure you comment below. Give me any information that you guys may need from me. I appreciate the love so much. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And stay tuned. Stay tuned for another episode of Flight Coach Drizzy.
Dripping with finesse, it don't make no sense.